Airspeeder has been a project we've been keeping our eyes on for the last few years, and I'm here with the CCO of Airspeeder, Jack Withinshaw. Now, Jack, tell us what's been going on with the entire project, because it's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, we are building a brand new sport from scratch. On top of that, a whole new technology in eVTOLs, as you can see behind you, electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. And we've been very busy. So we started back in 2016, and since then we've been scaling up the vehicles to full size. The Mark III is a 4.1 meter long electric octocopter that we announced in 2020. And through the pandemic, we've been testing that vehicle to its limits, and we're now excited to say in 2022, we are having our first 3 races this year.
Which is incredible. Now, before we get into what these races are going to look like, when we talk about your particular project, the thing behind us that we can see, the Airspeeder, it's taken a while to get it off the ground when it comes to public knowledge. Now people are following it on social media a lot. What has been the response from those people?
I think there's an interesting gap actually in terms of how people look at urban air mobility, and they don't understand that the technology is already here, that there's massive OEMs out there, companies like Joby, Volocopter, Lilium, that are all building these vehicles, but we're really excited to be able to show that to the public and to show them what these vehicles can do as well. So for us, it's about getting the vehicles out there, getting them racing in a nice snackable size format that is sport, and spread the message of eVTOL and UAM far and wide.
Which is really important, isn't it, that we have some way of the average Joe being able to see aircraft in the sky that are going to be potentially in the future taking them around, and electricity is key because electric forms of transportation are sustainable.
Absolutely. Well, we all want the sustainable future, but there is a key part there, which is we want that. We want people to want that as well. We want the public to fall in love with what this technology can do, and racing does offer that. But it also offers another touch point. Not only can we have human faces with pilots that you can rally behind and start to cheer on, but we want you to experience it as well, so that you can kind of democratize the experience of flying cars. And for us, that means not only seeing it on screen, seeing your heroes flying at the edge of their capabilities, but also bring it down to a simulator level, an esports level. There is so much in the world of Airspeeder that we can bring to life that can encourage flying cars to the forefront.
Yeah, we've seen electric cars with Formula E, we've seen the E1 series on the water, we've seen Air Race, which is electric aircraft, but these are completely different because it's taking the quadcopter idea, isn't it? And they're looking like the flying car that we used to see in Back to the Future. So it sparks some sort of excitement in a child.
Absolutely. I think this is the dream that we've always dreamed about, flying cars. And you mentioned it in some of the newest sports, but Star Wars, Back to the Future, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Fifth Element, this has been in pop culture that we've had personal air transport as possible in our future. And we're here to say to the public that it's available now, and to show them what we can do.
Now, with these craft, these are built in-house. So when it comes to innovation and technology and moving forward, how do you continually push the boundaries and make sure you're getting people that say no to something rather than saying yes all the time, if it's always in-house? How do you envisage this moving forward?
So at the moment, Alauda, which is the manufacturing arm of Airspeeder, who build all the vehicles exclusively for the Airspeeder series, we build the aircraft all in-house. We weren't here willing to wait for the market to come and build one for us. We had to go and build it ourselves. And it's not always going to be like that, though. We're looking to offset certain parts of the technology tree to our teams to take over that innovation journey. And in doing that, those OEMs can come in, they can develop their expertise in motors, batteries, powertrains, aero packages, whatever, and eventually take full control over it to the level we get to Formula One. And in doing that, we are now spreading the technology and the investment in this types of vehicles far and wide globally to help kind of accelerate the urban air mobility dream that we've all been wanting.
It's great to have it, isn't it? It does encourage innovation and technology. Now, when we talk about the race itself, what are we going to see this year, and what we're going to see next year, and then what we're going to see in 5-10 years?
Okay, I can't get into too much detail, but I can tell you a little bit what you can expect, which is multiple vehicles all in the air at the exact same time. We are flying the Mark III series, which is an uncrewed electric octocopter. So pilots will be racing them from the ground in a grounded cockpit, and that's fantastic for us because it means we can do extreme racing this year, but we can also take a bunch of learnings before we start moving into crewed vehicles later on. Now, each year, we're going to be not only expanding the roster of teams that we have in the series, but we will also be expanding the number of locations. So this is a global series. I can't say the locations just yet, but we will be introducing it to all different parts of the globe. Now, talking to the future, we'd love to be able to get up to that F1 grid where we have 20 vehicles. Each team has 2 vehicles all in the air at the exact same time. Safety is a key point there, where these are crewed craft, so having a rigorous, well-tested anti-collision software in place to be able to stop the vehicles from physically touching, but digitally bumping would be really important. But getting there, it means that we can bring this not only to life with multiple vehicles in the air, but also into the public sphere as well, eventually when we're ready.
Sounds fantastic. I can't wait to see it. Now, on the backdrop of all this, we've had COVID as well, so you've had to kind of deal with a pretty big stopper in the way. How's the company got through that, and how are you looking now?
Sheer grit and determination. That's all you've got, really. COVID's been a really interesting one because we've been manufacturing in Australia, which was largely unaffected by COVID, other than borders being shut for 2020, which meant that the team had a lot of time to crack on and develop the vehicles and test them out. It did get a little bit challenging when lockdown started to come into place into Australia. It meant that pilots were stuck interstate and made testing a little bit harder, and we suffered from the same supply chain issues that the rest of the aerospace industry also suffered from. But safe to say that things are starting to open up now. At the end of a pandemic, I can't think of a better time to introduce a new generation of motorsport.
We can't wait, Jack. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.